All right, in this video, I wanted to talk about the lost and found Air Jordan 1s and reasons why I think this is really deserving of the position that it's in for one of the top sneakers of 2022. Now, unfortunately, I don't have my own pair. I have my wife's pair that I got for her, which was actually really fun. She didn't even know that I got these for her, and then I did this little contest and had her choose, well, I'll let you guys watch that video.
Just like 5 of my favorites.
Yeah, like which was the one that you go, okay, this is my absolute favorite out of all of them.
Oh, I don't know. Which one's my absolute favorite? Maybe 1?
Dornbecker 5s was her first choice.
I would say 2.
I was just gonna tell you.
Whoa, those ones are fire. Those ones are the Jackie Robinson. Even with the Oregon Duck vibes on that, you're going with Zoe.
Listen, you already had your win last week.
And then 5 is gonna be wait
for it. Whoa!
Ah!
You earned your wings.
Yay!
I wonder if
they just came in.
I'm so jealous. Look at how good they look. Not fair. No fair.
I'm cool now.
Anyways, it was kind of crazy that she actually chose these for the top 5, just strictly based on looks on the sneaker. But this pair actually has a lot of really cool stuff detailed in this shoe release, and so I know most of you guys already know it, but for those that don't, hopefully you guys will learn something. So the inspiration behind this is because obviously back in the day in like the 80s when these originally came out in like 85, you'd go to sneaker shops and stuff, and sneaker boxes were just sneaker boxes. They weren't collectible or anything like that. And so when you were buying a pair of them, they were trying to find lids just to basically match the size of the shoe to get them out of the door. And for those that don't know conceptually why it's called the Lost and Found, think of it as an Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG Chicago colorway that's been lost since 1985 and then is now found in 2022. This is kind of a direct representation of what it would look like if you found a new pair in today's market. So the mismatched lids, I think, is really dope. Also, there's lots of detailings on the shoe that we'll get into that shows the aging and whatnot. And then I have some comparisons that I'm excited to show you because it's not the very first pair of sneakers that Nike's released that has like a vintage look. Obviously, that's been something that we've seen in other things. But then as you look on the inside, you could see it does have white paper, but it also has a newspaper that basically is an advertisement, an 85 advertisement of the Air Jordan 1. It has things like the Air Jordan by Nike Super Sale, regularly $65, now only $29.99. It's first quality and it is leather while supplies last. Also, it says anti-gravity machines and as seen on TV. I've never ever seen anything like it. It does show Michael's famous picture of him holding the sneaker laces as well as the infamous Jumpman pose. And for those that didn't know, this is a picture that is then used for the Jumpman logo. But the funny thing is he was not actually dunking the ball. He literally just jumped up in the air like this and they took a picture of it. And then also in the bottom of the box, you get the Sandy Bros invoice. It says Paul L. signed this thing on 8/30/86. So 1986 on the box. It is stamped with an actual stamp that says paid Air Jordan basketball shoe, paid cash, final sale, received by Leah N. I think that this is really dope as well. And for somebody that's never seen a receipt like this is the actual receipt that they would give you for a pair of sneakers back then. And then they would keep a copy for themselves for accounting reasons. But this is the customer's receipt. But the Tiffany Dunks from back in the day, the low top versions, not the high tops. I actually waited in line at a skate shop and they had this type of a system. I basically got a receipt just like this in my Tiffany Dunks way back when, which is pretty fun to think back on. Anyway, that's kind of a little bit about the box and the history of what they're doing here. And you can see even the box has a little bit of aged looks to it, mismatched Nike box, and then the black Nike box in the bottom that we know from Jordans and whatnot. So getting to the actual product, they definitely went crazy on these and made them very special in a number of different ways. Obviously, the first thing that draws your attention is the cracked leather around the collar of the shoe in black, and then this little window here on both sides. That definitely looks and feels like cracked leather because the leather from back in the day would be kind of crumbly and look like this. And in fact, from their archives, they actually used a pair for reference as they were creating these things. The white leather is actually a little bit crackled as well, and I don't know how they actually made this look like that, but I love the concept of what they did there. And then the tongue actually has a little bit of a yellowed effect there, as well as the midsole that has a little bit of an aged effect there. One thing I wanted to show you guys, it's kind of a little bit similar to that, is this pair right here. This is a pair of Nike Air Max 90s. Now, they didn't give it an OG box. They give it the brown box, unfortunately. It would have been nice to have these in the OG box because they did sort of the same thing. You can see this is kind of a vintage looking Nike Air Max 90, the yellowed midsole, but this is probably something they took cues off when they were creating these. And you can see on the bottom, it has like the powdered effect, whatever, from the rubber on the outsole of the shoe. Now, it's crazy that these ones actually were made in 2012, which is nuts. I think these ones came out early 2013. But the fact that they actually had that idea like 10 years ago, it's pretty cool that Jordan Brand's executing something very similar in line with what they have here, but done in a really nice representation of the OG colorway of an Air Jordan 1. Similar vibes with the OG colorway of the Air Max 90. So these dropped on November 19th, and the price tag was $180 for adults. And just for some additional notes, it says Jordan Brand designers took note of the condition of the leather from several older pairs of AJ1s, observing how some of the oils in the leather came to the surface and created different visible effects. They recreated the rich look using premium materials that will last longer for today's consumers. The OG box and lid is a nod to the lost and found nature of the colorway. The updated Chicago comes with a mismatched box lid that speaks to the shoes being misplaced in back rooms and basements. They wanted a look and feel that came with history tied back to something many consumers may not even be aware of. Ultimately, whether old school or new generation, Jordan Brand wants every consumer to see the beauty and the story behind the shoe. Also, when these debuted in 1985, they weren't grand expectations. Instead, they were critics loudly chirping about Nike's decision to give Michael Jordan a large sneaker deal before he even played a single game, and the rookie's choice to sign with a company that up to that point is best known for running shoes. Jordan quickly flipped the narrative though on the court by winning Rookie of the Year, averaging 28.2 points per game and 6.5 rebounds and 5.9 assists per game in 1985 while donning the Air Jordan 1. And I'm telling you guys everything that we should pretty much already know about the Air Jordan 1 and Jordan's lineage and how he came up. Everybody's seen the documentaries, but it is still crazy to think back and go, dude, Nike took a chance on a guy and look where we are like however many years later. And it's crazy that enough hits had to have happened in succession to be to the point where they can recreate something from 1985 in 2022 and have everybody be geeked up and put this in one of the top sneaker spots of the year. Rightful place in my opinion, but leave a comment and let me know what you guys think about the history and the release. And I mean, the overall release was kind of crazy. I wish I would have hit on a pair. I do want to get a pair eventually. Under 500 is probably a good price point at this point to get them because they're just going to go up in value long term, as we would expect because of the colorway that it is. But really cool release and something that hopefully you guys got your hands on if you guys are looking for a pair. If you guys do want to buy a pair, I'll link them to like eBay in the description. But appreciate you all for stopping by and watching. Also, I did want to show you guys, I did get my little one a pair as well. So these are the only two that I got. I got two for the ladies in the house, none for the fellas. Harrison and I are kind of stuck out in the cold while the ladies get the heat this time, which I'm okay with. Every now and then it's nice to be able to have them get something that we don't have. But have a good one though. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully we'll see you back for some more sneaker content on the channel. Peace, guys.